Brandon, we saw that Hunter Harvey's going to pitch at Aberdeen. Can you give us a sense of the plan going forward for him? When do you hope to get him?
Well, he's throwing in Aberdeen. He's going to make a few appearances. He's not eligible to come off until the end of the month, first of next month. So we're kind of scheduled out his outings here for the next 8-9 days, and then we'll hopefully he's ready to join us.
John Mioli, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mute myself. You've talked a little bit about, the issues the offense is having after games, but leading up to games, like, what's your thought on what will get this, like, the change you want to see enacted? What's the first step to kind of turning the ship around offensively in your mind?
Well, I just think we have a lot of guys that have struggled so far this year. And, the top half of our order right now has really carried us offensively and done a really good job. I mean, Trey's swinging the bat great. Now we got Santander back. He's going to give us really good at-bats. Freddie's had a good year up until this point. Ced's done what he's done. Austin Hayes has been a lot better after coming back from injury and giving us a spark offensively. We're just having a tough time sustaining rallies just because we have a tough time putting a bunch of good at bats together. You look at the innings that we've scored runs. We don't hit a ton of homers either. So we don't hit a ton of homers. So we got to be able to manufacture runs. We got to be able to draw walks when necessary. We got to be able to put the ball in play. And that's a lineup approach. It's not just you're waiting for a 3-run homer a couple times a game. And, right now we the work that we do pregame, I couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, these guys are locked in prior to the game. The work is fantastic. They recognize everything we've been talking about. It just haven't happened in the games yet. And this is a production league, and it's face good pitching, and it's easier said than done, but we just got to keep working.
Rich Dubroff, go ahead.
Brandon, Tyler Wells was on here earlier, and if you look to the future with him, if the club continued with him beyond this year, do you look at him as a potential starter or more as a bullpen piece?
Yeah, I think possibly. I just was saying on the radio, I think really impressed with Tyler right now. This is a guy that didn't pitch for a couple years, had a couple major injuries, hasn't pitched above Double-A, and really is holding his own in the big leagues with no Triple-A experience. I think the guy's got big time confidence. His stuff has ticked up. I think you're seeing the command of his off-speed stuff, the slider and the changeup improve, which is really, for me, was the question in spring training. I like the guy's fastball. It's 93, 96 fastball. It's a kind of a tough angle for the hitter, but is the off-speed going to be able to command off-speed to be able to get him off his fastball? And done a really good job of that. He just really has, it's like a bad pitch every time out that's just hurt him. But I think he's pitched better than his numbers shown. He picked us up last night going 2 innings, saved me from using another reliever, which helps us today. And I think he's just really getting a lot of valuable experience. So I don't know if he's going to be a bullpen guy or a starter at this point. I think we're going to try to figure that out, find that out over the course of the season.
Joe Trezza, go ahead.
Brady, you touched on it a little bit there, but is the bullpen in better shape today than it was the last few days?
Yeah, they'll be going 5 and then Tyler going 2 helped us out. I mean, yesterday we were on hanging by a thread a little bit. So, today we're in better shape.
Steve Molesky, go ahead.
Brandon, such a great start for Cedric. Did he become a focal point for other pitching staffs? And is one thing that could help him going forward is if Santander gets it going, Mountcastle, some other guys carry a load that kind of he's been carrying.
Yeah, and a day off too would help him. be able to give this guy a little bit of a breather. He's played almost every inning and really played well. But they're pitching him a little bit differently right now. I see him the teams are crowding him a lot, and he pulls inside that ball, pulls his hands inside that one to Strasburg last night in the first, and the ball was on the pole the whole way and just hook at the very end. So I think Sed's, he's played extremely well up until this point, and I think if we get some guys, Trey's swinging the bat unbelievably right now, and Hayes' at bats are a little bit inconsistent, but he shows flashes of being a really good player. And hopefully Santander can help us out there in the middle of the order.
John Mioli, go ahead.
Brandon, on Cedric, are teams also pitching him differently to prevent his ability to lay down bunts in a way that he was able to, more successfully in years past? Or is that just good to draw right now?
No, I think third basemen are playing him differently. So like we played Tampa, Diaz was at third. He was about 20 feet in on the grass. Starlin last night was taking the bunt away from him. So it's just more challenging. He's a bunt threat, and then he's a stolen base threat when he gets on bases. They're just going to try to take it away and hope and make him beat them, because the shortstop is wide open at that point. And that's something he works on every day in BP, honestly, is hitting line drives, hard ground balls to that left side, just because the whole side, but they crowd him. So it's really tough to stay inside to be able to utilize the left side of the field.